right, just a second here. And get this bad boy rolling. Oh, yo. If you, let me, all right, I'm right there. Let me check Facebook. Let me, make sure I'm on there. I should be on YouTube as well, but we will see. Make sure. So I'm live here on Instagram. Okay. What about Facebook? I'm live on Facebook. There we go. Monitor the comments here. And then I'll just kind of do one of these. There's my website I'm building right now. It's pretty neat. Pretty cool website. Boom. But yeah, if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, coach or creator, um, you know, this live is going to be, for you, right? Um, we're going to talk about, why most businesses are bleeding money right now, right? We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about, you know, certain things, right? I like to talk a lot about mindset and motivation, and I'm going to show you how my software can stop the bleeding and automate the chaos and give you time and your power back, right, to your business. Um, so you can go to websyncdesign.com, and that's going to, get you started. We've got a white glove service, and then we've got the software as well. 97, 297, 497, right? You're going to be able to get on board. You're going to be able to, you know, get going. There is no, if you want a website built out for you, then, that's an additional charge. But ultimately, you're going to be able to get the software and all the features associated, with the prospective plan. Um, but, the thing is I fell in love with this software a couple years ago, and I've been bootstrapping this, since day one. Not knowing anything about software, not knowing anything about technology. I think I've come pretty far, right? And I'm gonna, show you how automating. You can automate the chaos and give your time back and your power back to, your business, and not only that, but your life, because when you start to automate your business, you're going to start getting more time freedom, right? You're going to be able to do the things that you need to do because your business is on autopilot, right? So, the truth and why, businesses are bleeding money, right? Let's call it what it is, right? Most businesses are stuck because, they're stuck in, reactive mode, right? They have no systems, there's no automations, there's no lead follow up, no sales pipeline, no data, no direction. So it kind of, they're doing things manually that should be automated, right? We live in a day and age now where, it's so easy to get this stuff on board, right? You know, they're paying VAs for what software could do as well, 24/7. I mean, you're paying somebody something, you're paying money when you could have a software that can do it for you, right? They're hiring out websites, CRMs, funnels, when they could do it all under one roof, right? And the thing is like, I have templates galore, right? So no matter if you're in real estate, you're in landscaping, you're in, coaching, whatever the case is, there's a template that you could utilize, and I'll show you that. But the thing is like, you know, that's that's really money you're leaving on the table when you think about that, because you have the ability to do everything in this day and age, right? You've got a funnel builder, you got calendars, you got the AI chatbots, and I have videos that show you exactly how to utilize all of those features, right? That'll walk you through step by step. So yeah, you have to, invest a little bit of time into learning how to do this stuff. But if it's your business, I think it would probably be a good idea, right? Unless you're, a multi-million dollar company, you just like hire everything out. Well, then that's cool. But the reality is that a lot of small businesses, they don't have the discretionary spending to be paying for all the extra features, right, that larger businesses are able to do, right, where you can hire out a lot of the tasks. So you have to do a little bit of work, right? You have to learn a little bit and implement what you've learned. um so that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get, is like, you have a software that's literally an all-in-one software that could really help you, right, streamline and automate your business. And every missed lead, every missed follow-up, every abandoned cart, it all adds up over time. And you're not failing because your ideas suck, you're failing because your systems suck. And that's what I realized with a lot of businesses, right? A lot of businesses are stuck because they're too busy, trying to manage all the follow ups. Maybe they just have a Google Calendar, and then maybe they have um, a piece of paper that they write everything down in. And then they're trying to send emails to all these people that have booked appointments and appointment reminders and all the different things that, that can be automated within your business. No matter if you're coaching, no matter if you're a landscaper, no matter if you're a real estate agent, you have a system that can do it all for you, right? And the cool thing is, though, is like, we can get deeper in this too, right? Because it's not just about software, right? It's about how you think, right? And to be clear, it's you can journal daily, right? You can journal all day, you can visualize, you can light candles, whatever it is that you do, right? But if your systems and your actions, your mindset are not aligned, you're gonna stay stuck. You're gonna stay broke, right? And that's where I like to, add a little bit of, coaching in there, right? Because, I am where I am because I didn't just dream it, I built it, right? I didn't come from, technology background, right? I didn't grow up coding, you know, I was a Marine, I was a fighter, I was a father, and I said enough. And I wanted to capture my, destiny in a sense, right? I taught myself how to build systems. I built my first site on Shopify, and I fell in love, with software from there, right? And now I run a website design company. It's full automation platform that helps business owners, finally stop bleeding time and money. And the thing is, like, here's what WebSync does, and why it's the weapon of choice for businesses ready to win. Right? Funnels. Right? You got your funnels right here. You're going to be able to create funnels, websites, and you have a templates that are amazing, right? These are proven strategies, proven funnels that people have used and people continue to use, right? And it's all drag and drop, and you can launch a website within a matter of hours, right? Rather than weeks, right? You have a CRM, right? This is essentially a CRM on steroids, right? You have, all your contacts can be right here. You have your pipelines, right? pipelines are essentially, moving people from one area to another, a new lead, contacted, right? Qualified, proposal sent, etc. And it just keeps moving down the pipeline so that way you can monitor where they're going, right? You have emails, and the cool thing is too, you have emails that you have templates for the emails as well, and it's a pretty neat in my opinion, right? Because you can take these email campaign templates, and you can, let's say you are a life coach and you want to use this one, you can take this template and leave it as is, or you can copy, or you can put your own copy into it, right? And put your own words, your own, whatever it is you're trying to, send to your people, right? And it's all outlined, and there's buttons. So that's a pretty cool feature. And you've got AI chatbots. So this is a really cool. See, look, you can create your first voice agent. So these are inbound voice agents. Eventually they're going to have outbound agents, but right now they have inbound agents. Do I have any in here? So for instance, here's one. This is my precious metals bot. So she knows everything about my precious metals business and can book appointments for me and can lead people in the direction they need to sign up for a membership to be able to purchase precious metals at the best possible price, right? And it's very simple to set up. You have templates that you can utilize, but ultimately, you've got roles, guardrails, you've got guidelines. You just give the bot, the proper prompts, and it'll be able to do the job, right? And then, of course, you have a knowledge base. This is actually new, and this is really cool feature because if you've used ChatGPT and you've built bots before, there's a knowledge base, and essentially all you're doing is you're giving it a library of knowledge to work off of. So right now, this is all about precious metals, right? And it'll web crawl. Well, it's supposed to web crawl, websites, so that way it can gather information. And then eventually they're going to have files that you can upload. There's a FAQ, which is really neat because a lot of times with these types of bots, especially like ChatGPT, is what you want to do is you want to either create a Google Doc or something along that lines with a bunch of FAQs, and then you just give that to the bot so that way it can read the FAQs. And we also have, white glove service, right? We have, you have every single opportunity to, grow and scale your business with our white glove service because, not only are you going to be able to get it all built out for you, right, but you're going to get every feature within the platform, right? And you're going to get specialized, priority support, but this is mainly for people that are really serious, like entrepreneurs, serious business owners, right, that want to build their stuff the right way. And usually takes about, I would say a couple weeks for us to build something out for you. Then if you're looking at automations, those types of things like specialized automations, then it may take us, a little bit longer, just so that way we can test everything out and make sure. But it's kind of an ongoing process, especially with the AI as well. It's a constant training and learning and seeing what's working and what's not working. But ultimately, this is going to get you set up quickly, effectively, and this is where you're not going to have to do a whole lot of work, right? But ultimately, if you want to kind of do it yourself, we have videos that show you how to do everything, that can walk you through step by step, and you can just figure out what features you need, and then you could choose the plan that suits your needs, right? And I do offer extra sub accounts. So for instance, if you get this one, you're going to get 3 extra sub accounts, right? You can use those for whatever, if you want, to use it for, maybe a couple of your businesses or three of your business, whatever, you're going to get three sub accounts. You just have to pay for the usage of those accounts. And, you could even sell them. I've had people that have wanted to sell their sub accounts, mainly, rent them out essentially, right? Where you can charge somebody $97, $4.97, whatever it is you want to charge them. You have the ability to charge them, whatever you want. So that's kind of a cool feature, because eventually, you could have this paid for, right? Or you can have it paid for, then you're running your business for free. I am going to have an affiliate option that's in the works right now. I'm just making sure all the legality of it is, set in stone, and it's all, but I believe it's going to be 40%. I'm going to probably have a couple tiers, 40% and then 15%, right? So that way, if, but the thing is, if you want to sell a $297 plan, then you have to be on the $297 plan, right? So in order to sell these two, you have to be on this one. And when you're on this one, you can sell all three of them, right? You're going to get 40% of this, 40% of this, 40% of this, right? And it's going down 2 tiers. So that's kind of a cool feature. I don't want to go really any further than that. I mean, there's companies out there that go down like 5 tiers, which is fine, but maybe down the road we'll add some, but we'll see. So that's the cool thing, right? If you want to scale, you want time freedom, you want the financial control, like you need a business operating system, right? That's what this gives you, right? It gives you a business operating system so you can really streamline and automate your business, right? And that's a cool thing, though. Was like, yeah, you have a complete business ecosystem, right? But at the same time, right, I'm not here to like pitch you fluff, right? I build this because I saw the struggle, right? I was utilizing multiple different softwares, multiple different platforms, tools, etc., to operate, my businesses. And so I understand, I've lived it. I know what people are going through, and I'm in SaaS Academy as well. If you haven't heard of SaaS Academy, and there's nothing wrong with any softwares out there. I'm just saying a lot of people haven't heard of haven't heard of GHL, right? And that's what this is. It's a white label GHL. But ultimately, by having a complete ecosystem, you're going to be able to really streamline and automate your business, because you're going to have everything under one roof, and then you don't have to worry about trying to talk to all the different softwares or platforms or whatever the case may be, logging into all the different platforms, because you have everything under one roof. And that's what I love about it, right? WebSync, it's not just a software, it's like a back-end empire, right? It's your freedom tool is what I call it, right? It's how you manifest your vision into reality, right? With execution and automations and discipline. They just offered this as well, which is really neat feature, which I'll show you real quick. The ads manager. You're going to be able to create ads, right, within the platform itself. So you can create a campaign for Facebook, right? You can use templates if you want. And there's a lot of different templates that you can utilize. And let's say you're a solar company. Well, you can click this right here. You can, add whatever it is you want to add, right? And you just add the template. And now you can customize that. You already got the picture. You already got the pretty much set up for you, right? So all you have to do is just put your own copy in. So there's a lot, there's a lot to this, right? Prospecting, if you are a business that needs, leads, or you need to go out and find leads, or maybe you're looking for restaurants, right? Maybe you sell systems to restaurants, right? You're going to be able to look up restaurants within your area, and you're going to get a full report. You can create a full report of the website performance, the premium lead generation, SEO analytics, everything, right? For that business. That way, maybe you can help them, achieve whatever it is that you're trying to get them to achieve, right? Um, and that's the cool feature, right? Maybe you're a landscaper, and you want to do commercial landscaping, right? You can search businesses in the area, scope them out, call them, go to there, whatever it is you need to do, right, to get those bookings, those leads, and then hopefully you land them, right? So that's the thing, if you're serious about fixing the leaks in your business, there's options. We have options. We've got AI, we've got lead generation, right? We've got automations, we've got websites, we've got memberships. If you're a coach, if you are, a digital marketer, you can create your own communities, right? You can create your own communities and courses. So, for instance, I've got a couple courses in here, and I'm building some of them out, right? So I'm building this one right here, which is WebSync. It's website design, right? Teaches you CSS and HTML for your website. These come automatically with it. It's onboarding. These are the ones that I've built. If you're micro school, we've got this. We also, service micro schools. We have specialized plans for that. But, ultimately, you have onboarding, you have, text message rules for businesses for the A2P, because A2P is really difficult. And a lot of people have trouble with A2P. I mean, I'm still fighting with my A2P registration right now. I've already put it in like 3 times, but for whatever reason, it won't recognize my business. I don't know. So we got to figure that out. But ultimately, there's a t-shirt branding course I've got in there, creating the at cost metals learning one for people that are in my precious metals, so they can learn precious metals and how to sell it. So that's the thing. There's so many things. Right here we have start here. This is going to be your onboarding, right? So you're going to be able to log into your dashboard, and then you're going to be able to go through the videos step by step. And then we also have the Launchpad right here. Launchpad is going to give you some extra features, extra videos, kind of similar to the Start Here. The Start Here is kind of more of a pipeline, so that way I can see where individuals are within the pipeline. So if they call on that, we're like, hey, I'm having issues with this sucks, I can't do it. I'm like, well, where are you at within the Start Here? And it's going to show me where they're at. And I could say, well, you need to go watch this video and watch that and see if you're still having issues, because ultimately, yes, we're here to help everybody, but I can't help everybody, right? Unless you're paying, for the white glove service, right? Then you're going to get specialized coaching, and you're going to get specialized support. But ultimately, it's not that we're not going to help you. It's just that you need to do your part as well, right? And that's what the videos are there for, right? It teaches you how to utilize the platform. It walks you through step by step how to set everything up, and you're going to be fine. And if you still have, and then once you're done with that, you're going to have an onboarding. Once you're done, you're going to be able to get an onboarding. We're going to walk through everything, make sure everything's set up correctly. If you have any questions, that's your time to answer them or ask them. And therefore, we go into weekly training. We've got weekly training to where, you can get in there and you can check out all the weekly training, right? And then, of course, we have a knowledge base. So even if you have a question about something, you're going to be able to search for that, right? You can ask your questions. You can find your answers. You got a little widget right here that you can ask your questions, that we've built out. There's a lot of opportunity, right? A lot of opportunity to find your answers, a lot of opportunity to find the answer. It's there, right? So that's what we have, right? When you whether you're in the 97 plan, the 297, 497, that's what you're going to get, right? You're going to get more specialized support, obviously, at the higher plans. Then ultimately, you're going to get 24/7 round the clock support when you are on the white glove service, right? But so maybe you are a landscaping company. You have the ability to create estimates, reoccurring invoices, create invoices right then and there. Maybe you want to send service level agreements. Maybe you want to send contracts, whatever. Like, you're going to be able to send those contracts to people's email. That way they can sign them quickly and then you can get to work. Right? Maybe you want to be a t-shirt company, right? You have the ability to create a t-shirt shop. You can add all your products. We have Printify that can integrate with the software. And it's really super, super simple. Like, well, you use Printify, you add your shirts to your store on Printify, you add them, you just say add to store, and they're going to automatically pop in here. Do I have any on this one? I don't think I do. No. But I'd have to get into one of the accounts. I'll have to create one for a demo account so that way you guys can see it. But that's where it's at, guys. A lot. So here's my onboarding. It walks everybody, or it shows where everybody's at within the onboarding process. Just an example, but boom. But yeah, it's a little an all-in-one system, guys. All-in-one system for your business. You want to get everything under one roof. You want to maintain it. You want to streamline it. You want to automate it. This is where all the magic happens, right here. Right, this is where the automations come in. I've built out a lot of different automations, and the cool thing, I'll just give you this, a little bit of a advanced one right here. Right. So, for instance, this is advanced lead for IG, LinkedIn, whatever. Right. You can have a bunch of different, triggers for this, but ultimately, this is going to send them an SMS, right? So maybe they fill out a form on your website, for a roofing. Maybe they want to do, maybe it's a roofing quote, right? They fill out the form. They're looking for a roofing quote. Cool. It's going to send them a text message. Hey, this is so-and-so calling because you submitted a form wanting more information. Are you still interested? No obligation call. Right. It's going to wait. It's going to wait, at least one day if they don't reply. If they reply, then it's going to come over here, right? And now it's going to start asking qualifying questions, because that's the idea. We use AI to start asking them qualifying questions to see if they're a good candidate for what you're trying to do, right? Or to get more information. And then it's going to ultimately lead them to booking an appointment, is what we really want them to do, right? So that way we can get somebody out there to do the quote for their roof, right? So this leaves out a lot of the middleman, right? Rather than having a secretary or somebody there to, call the person, ask for more questions, whatever the case may be, boom, it's all right there. All right. And if they don't respond, then it's going to be here, and then it's going to end up just dropping off if they don't reply at all. So that's kind of advanced lead gen for the system. But ultimately, same thing with appointments, right? If somebody books an appointment, you've got calendar reminders that are going to remind them of their appointment. And maybe you want to make sure that they confirm their appointment. So, you can do these where if they confirm their appointment, it's going to, or if they make it to their appointment, right? The customer makes it to their appointment, it's going to send them a review request. It's going to send them a confirmation email. It's going to send them appointment reminders, whatever the case may be. You have options to really get it done, right? So there's a lot of things you can do to really, every business is different. Every business kind of needs, you know, these are just templates that you can use, right? But ultimately, we can customize them, and that's what you get with the white glove service, right? You're going to be able to customize your own workflows, right? But ultimately, you are limited to how many you can do. But we like to help out, and we'll definitely make sure that you're taken care of. Um, so we got stuff from e-commerce to invoicing. Um, this is voice AI. So for instance, if somebody calls in, looks like this has already worked. But for instance, they call in, it's going to add a tag. It's going to give a call reason, right? Call reason based on the conversation that they've had. Are they looking for an estimate, right? Do they want to cancel or reschedule? Are they complaining, right? So it's going to drop them down these chutes, and this is where you're going to be able to, um, really send internal notifications. Um, that way you can manage them, right? Maybe you send an internal notification to your phone like somebody's complaining or there's something wrong, right? So this can get sent to your number, so that way ultimately you can call them right away, right, to try to fix whatever complaint issue that they have, right? Or maybe they want the call transferred to a human. Well, you can do that right here as well, right? So many different options. I mean, the options are almost endless, right? Um, Maybe you want to go to Google Sheets, right? And you want to, well, I don't know if I can show that. I can't show that. But, for instance, we got a client who they fill out a form on their website. It gets, triggered, or it gets shown in here. Let me see. We'll go back to this one and see if conversations. But for instance, over here, you've got notes that you can look at, and it's going, based on how you set up the automation, you can create notes right here. And then what you can do as well is you can create where it sends it to Google Sheets, and then it'll start creating a spreadsheet of, let's say, all the individuals that go and fill out your form. So that way you can really start to keep track of your leads. Other than that, I don't know how long have I been on here. 11:10. Nobody showed up. This is great. Hopefully people start showing up eventually, or maybe somebody is scrolling through. We'll see it. But ultimately, if you really want to, you know, if you're serious about trying to figure out your business, and you're serious about trying to, create better websites, right? Create better websites, create, um, better, lead generation, lead follow up, those types of things, then this is definitely for you, right? And again, prices are pretty cheap, right? You can start out with one of these plans. You can always move up if you need to. So a lot of cool features, right? So if you are a small to medium business, I would definitely suggest, something along this lines, right? You're going to get all their funnels, your CRM, your automations, emails, right? AI automations and conversation AI. So this is where that advanced lead gen came in, right? You're not going to be able to get that in here, right? Plus, you're going to get the AI voice agent that's going to be customized to your business. Priority support, snapshots, you're going to get all kinds of different things, right? That are going to really benefit your business, to kind of really give you that time of freedom that you need. Now, do you need to be tech savvy? No. Right? This is built for real business owners. There's no coder. It's all drag and drop. I'm the coder, right? If you need something coded, you want something, unique, well, let us know. We might be able to help you out, right? But ultimately, there is no coding. It's all drag and drop, pre-built workflows, and you can launch without learning complicated software, right? This is not complicated, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. Conversations, calendars, it may look like a lot. I mean, it is a lot at first, right? When you first get in, but when you really look at the side panel here, it's kind of self-explanatory. Calendars, right? You click calendars and that's going to take you to your calendars, and you're going to be able to hook your calendar up to, I use, I have a domain through Google Workspace, right? And all my calendars, well, I probably can't show you. I got appointments on there with names, but ultimately, it's connected, right? So it shows everything that's on, my calendar, and it syncs. So you can sync multiple calendars. I've got like 4 or 5 calendars hooked up to it, right? Based on coaching calls, other calendars of events, meetings that I need to be in, and then of course booking of appointments, right? When people book an appointment, they're going to show up there. So a lot of cool things that you can do, but ultimately, you have to have the will, right? You have to, you have to stop hoping things change. You have to start building, right? The business that, prints money while you sleep, honestly, right? But ultimately, that's it, folks. That's all I got. If you guys would like to learn more, you'd like to book a demo, then you can go to websyncdesign.com and you can book a demo. If you would like to, sign up, by all means, go sign up. Sign up for you got a 14-day trial, right? So a 14-day trial, you can try it for 14 days. Obviously, you're gonna love it, right? Once you get in there, you're gonna love it. I haven't had anybody that didn't love it so far. So 14 days. Obviously, if you play annually, it's a bit of a savings. Same thing with the white glove service, right? You pay for this one right here, you're paying $199 a month, and you're getting all the features, right? You pay $3,500 one-time setup fee, right? That's kind of the unique feature that we have. You pay the $3,500 one-time setup fee and get everything built out for you. Then you pay $199 a month. $199 a month you're paying. So you're getting everything for $199 a month compared to the $479, right? So that's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. And then so you're saving $400 actually. You're saving $400 a year with this plan right here. Same thing with this, right? When you purchase annually, this is only what I want to say it's $3,800 for the full year, right? Compared to it being like $5,000, so that's like $2,000 that gets taken off of it. That's quite a bit. That's quite a big difference if you pay for the year, right? And then of course, so you can spend $79, right, for a full year. Or not for the full year, $79 a month, right? Now you're gonna really see. I did take, so that'd be $948. $948. You'd be paying $1,000 for the year. Now, granted, if you think about this, you get $2,000. Well, at least I do. I get $2,000 that I can write off of my taxes, right? So maybe you just get this one right here, the 119, right? That's $2,300. All right. So you can get this one, pay for the full year, and you can write it off on your taxes. Now, I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not a CPA or any of those things. Make sure you consult your tax. But ultimately, the same thing here. These you can write them off on your taxes. For me, I can write up to $2,000 off. So talk to your tax guy and see what you can do. But this is for your business. And that's what I like to tell people. It's like you are utilizing this to fix your business, to streamline your business, to automate your business. So it's one of those things like if you're not using a system like this in this day and age, then it's going to be really hard for you to scale. Because you got people that are doing this and they are scaling faster and quicker because they don't have to worry about doing all the back end stuff manually. It's doing this for them, right? So it's all up to you though, right? It's all up to what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to achieve. I had a guy who said he didn't want it because he didn't want to scale too fast. He didn't want, it was just him and his father. And he said that if I got this, we might get too many leads or too many people book an appointment. He was just worried about a lot of those things, right? And I'm like, well, we can ultimately set it up to where you can only book so many appointments. And then he's like, yeah, but then at that point, it really, like, I wouldn't be able to afford it, or I wouldn't want, So ultimately, he stuck with, his calendar and his notepad, right? And he does just fine. That's what he's comfortable with, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it just depends on what you want to do and what you're comfortable with and where you're trying to go within your business. But if you want to, get into the 21st century and you want to start really, utilizing software is the way of the future, right? AI is the way of the future. And if you can start getting in on the AI and start utilizing the tools that are there, it's gonna be a game changer for your business, right? Because with the AI inbound agent, you don't have to worry about answering your phone. It'll answer it for you, and then it'll lead them to where they need to be led, right? And ultimately, if they want to talk to a live agent, it can ring to your phone. You can answer it. You can answer their calls, questions, whatever. So that's the cool thing is, it's so cool, with the ability that you have with the software that is right here at your fingertips. So anyway, websyncdesign.com, go check it out. If you guys have questions, email me, DM me, whatever you need to do. I'm just here to help. Have a good night.